Welcome to the all of you for today's session. In our previous discussion, we discussed about the different kinds of the components present in the computer and what are the major components in the corresponding conductor, how it is related to the other components and power supplies. So those are all discussed in yesterday class, now previous class. Now today we are going to discussing about the CPU architecture. So while motherboard is considered to the backbone of the computer, generally the motherboard is a backbone of the computer. The central processing unit, that is nothing but CPU, is considered to the brain of the computer. In terms of a computer power, computing power, the CPU sometimes referred as a processor. Sometimes CPU is referred as a processor. It's the most important element of the computer system. CPU అనేది ఒక కంప్యూటర్ సిస్టంలో చాలా important element అనమాట యాక్చువల్లీ. సో ది మోస్ట్ ఆఫ్ ది క్యాలిక్యులేషన్స్ కెన్ టేక్స్ ప్లేస్ విత్ ది హెల్ప్ ఆఫ్ ఏ CPU only. So whatever the calculations like addition, subtraction, and most of the all the operations can be done with the help of a CPU. CPUs come in a different form factor. Here form factor means that the size and specifications of the corresponding system, like the specifications of the component. So CPUs comes in different form factor, each style requiring a particular slot or a socket on the motherboard. Common CPU manufacturers include Intel and AMD. జనరల్గా మనం సిపియూని కన్సిడర్ చేసుకున్నప్పుడు డిఫరెంట్ ఫామ్ ఫ్యాక్టర్స్లో అవైలబుల్ ఉంటాయి. యాజ్ వెల్ యాజ్ if you want to install the corresponding CPU on the motherboard, we need some CPU socket or slot. Generally we have two types of vendors for the manufacturers of the, mostly we are considering only we have different types of vendors are available in the market for manufacturing of the CPU. But here we will consider two types of, mostly we will consider two important two famous CPU manufacturer companies, that is nothing but Intel, and second one is nothing but AMD. The CPU socket or CPU slot connection with the motherboard and the processor. CPU slot is act as a connection on the motherboard, as well as here we have two types of a CPU sockets available in the motherboard, that is nothing but a pin grid array, that is nothing but PGA, pin grid array, and second one is nothing but a land grid array. Pin grid array means that the PGA architecture, the pins are on the underside of the processor, which is inserted into the motherboard with zero insertion force. ఇక్కడ ఏం చేస్తా అంటే పిన్ గ్రిడ్ అరేలో ఆ పిన్స్ అనేవి మదర్ బోర్డ్కి బ్యాక్ సైడ్లో ఉంటాయి, అండర్ ది బ్యాక్ మదర్ బోర్డ్కి బ్యాక్ సైడ్లో ఉంటాయి. జస్ట్ మనం ఆ ప్రాసెసర్కి బ్యాక్ సైడ్లో ఉంటాయి. ప్రాసెసర్ తీసుకెళ్ళి మదర్ బోర్డ్లో మనం ఇన్సర్ట్ చేస్తాం విత్ జీరో ఇన్సర్షన్, అంటే వితౌట్ అప్లయింగ్ ఎనీ ఫోర్స్ జస్ట్ ప్లేస్ చేస్తాం. Second type of a architecture is nothing but a land grid array. In land grid array, LG architecture, the pins are in the socket ఇన్స్టెడ్ ఆన్ ది ప్రాసెసర్. ఇక్కడ పిన్స్ అనేవి ఏమవుతుందంటే సాకెట్కి ఉంటాయి, ఇన్స్టెడ్ ఆఫ్ ప్రాసెసర్కి కాకుండా సాకెట్కి ఉంటాయి. జస్ట్ మనం ఈ ప్రాసెసర్కి హోల్స్ ఉంటాయి, జస్ట్ మనం దాన్ని ఆ కొస్పానిక్ పిన్ సెక్టర్ ఆ సాకెట్ ప్లేస్లో మనం ఇన్సర్ట్ చేస్తాం. దట్ ఈస్ నథింగ్ బట్ ఏ land grid array. Here next one is nothing, a program is a sequence of stored instruction. Generally program is nothing but a sequence of stored instruction. A CPU executes these instructions by following a specific instruction set. Here in case of the computer we have two types of a CPUs instruction set, that is nothing but RISC, and the second one is nothing but CISC. RISC is nothing but reduced instruction set computer, and the complex instruction set computer. Reduced instruction set computer is used only for a small number of set of instructions. It executes only small number of set of instructions rapidly. As well as complex instruction set architecture uses a broad set of instructions resulting in a fewer steps for operation. That means it takes only less instructions to execute the corresponding program. While CPU is executed one step of the program, the remaining instructions are stored in the nearby special high speed memory called cache. Actually when we are executing the instructions in the computer or maybe laptop, the execution, the instructions may be taken from the RAM, as well as if you performing the one instruction, the second instruction is fetched and stored in the a small memory with a high speed memory is generally called as a cache memory. Cache memory is a in between a CPU and main memory. So in between we have a cache memory. Cache memory is nothing but a very fast memory, as well as the manufacturing cost of the cache memory is also very high. Generally cache memories are generally called as SRAMs is used for the cache memory, static RAM. So that is introduction. Just if you are seeing the pictures related to this one, the first one depicts the CPU. It is nothing but a PGA socket, so it is nothing but a processor here. So this is nothing but like a PGA architecture. It is nothing but a PGA architecture. Here pins are under the processor. This is generally called as a PGA architecture. So the next one is nothing but next architecture is nothing but wait a while. This is another kind of the architecture actually. It is nothing but a LG architecture. In LG architecture, the pins are arranged on the motherboard itself. So we don't have any pins under the processor. So those are the two important architecture, CPU architecture for in case of the computer. The next one is so enhancing the CPU operation. Enhancing the CPU operation means that we have to increase the performance of the CPU. How can you improve the performance of the CPU? So for that purpose, generally various CPU manufacturers complement their CPU with the performance enhancing feature. For instance, Intel incorporates a hyper-threading to enhance the performance of the CPUs. Actually, the Intel company uses the hyper-threading concept that increases the speed of the that increases the performance of the CPU, as well as like AMD is also one of the important vendor. AMD also uses a hyper transport. It uses a hyper transport. It also enhances the CPU performance. In case of the hyper threading, two or more processors runs instructions on the simultaneous. That means in case of the hyper threading, we have a different types of processors there. All processors execute the instructions simultaneously. Therefore, it takes a very fewer minutes of time or fewer seconds of time to execute the corresponding program. But where in the case of the AMD processor, it uses a hyper transport mechanism. Hyper transport is nothing but it is a very high speed networking device in between the CPU and north bridge. So with the help of this high speed network, we can access the instructions very fastly from the RAM, and it executed the corresponding instruction. Those are the two techniques for them. The third one is so those are the techniques used by the Intel as well as the AMD, as well as overclocking. Overclocking is also improve the CPU performance by increasing the speed of the clock. So these are some techniques for increasing the speed of the clock. So here I think in our most of the scenarios we observed in the real time scenarios, we have a single core CPU, dual core, triple core, and quad core, hexa core, octa core. So the description for that one is that one multi-core processor. That means a single CPU consisting one core, or single CPU also consisting of two cores, or a single processor also consisting of more than 2 cores also. So that is nothing but single core means that one core inside a single CPU that handles all the processing. So the single core handles all the processing. As well, in case of the dual core, two cores inside the CPU, in which both cores can process information at the same time. That means if the number of cores is increases in the CPU, increases in the processor, increases in the number of cores inside the single CPU, that means the more instructions can run simultaneously. Therefore, the performance of the execution is also very high. So these are all very important for increasing the performance of the CPU. So integrating the processor on the same chip is a very fast connection between them. So the multi-core processor executes multi-core processor executes instructions more quickly than single core. So instructions can be distributed to the all the processor at the same time. RAM is shared between the processors because of cores reside on the same chip. So multi-core process is recommended for applications like video calling and gaming and photo manipulation. So the whatever the applications with the uh, fast fast movements in their corresponding operation, those kind of the applications can be done with the help of a multi-core. Like a gaming application, the response time is very less. So those kind of the applications can be done with the help of a like a high core instruction, that is nothing but multi-core processors. Next one is nothing but cooling systems. So what is the use of cooling systems in case of the in case of the CPUs or laptops? మనం చూసిన maximum devices లో కూలింగ్ ఫ్యాన్ అనేవి యూస్ చేస్తూ ఉంటాం, సిపియూస్లో కానీ ల్యాప్టాప్స్లో కానీ కంప్యూటర్స్లో కానీ. సో వాట్ ఈస్ ద యూజ్ ఆఫ్ దీస్ కూలింగ్ సిస్టమ్? యాక్చువల్లీ వెన్ ఎవర్ ది current flowing current between flow whenever the current flowing between the two devices, the two components or devices in the electronic equipments, automatically some heat is produced in the corresponding devices. So it generates the maximum heat. Obviously the process of the corresponding in a operation may be damaged. Certain times it may be degrading their performance also. So for that purpose, increasing the airflow in the computer cases allows more heat to remove. So whenever we are allowing the airflow in the corresponding CPU, automatically the heat is dissipated to the outside. So for that purpose, we have to use different kinds of the fans for the cooling of the corresponding CPU. So we will see what are the different types of CPU fans. What are the fans used for the cooling purpose? Just we will go through that one. So if you are observing, this is nothing but a case fan. Case fan is nothing but మనం CPU బాక్స్ తీసుకున్న ఒక పెద్ద ఫ్యాన్, బిగ్ ఫ్యాన్ ఇస్ సో మ్యాక్సిమం సైజ్లో ఉండే ఫ్యాన్ ఉంటుంది, దాన్ని మనం CPU ఫ్యాన్ గా అంటే. సో దట్ ఈస్ ద మోస్ట్ ఇంపార్టెంట్. సెకండ్ వన్ ఈజ్ నథింగ్ బట్ second fan is nothing but we have a different types of fans. It is nothing but a CPU heatsink. Actually CPU, it is used for CPU heatsink. After when we are placing the CPU heatsink, when we are placing on, that means the CPU heatsink is placed on the processor, so it is used for the cooling purpose also. So second one is nothing but so this is also one more cooling fan. The name of this one is just will show in the diagram itself. It is also called as a CPU fan. CPU fan. And fourth one is, it is nothing but a graphics card cooling system. So in case of our computer also, we are using the graphics card for the like video processing and audio and Photoshop application. Those kind of, for that purpose also we are using the graphics card. So the graphics card also uses some fan that is generally called as a graphics card cooling system and a water cooling system. It is also used for the cooling the corresponding water cooling system. So in the water cooling system, we are using the different kinds of the pipes. Within the pipes we are circulating the water, therefore the heat is dissipated to the outside. Those CPU fans make noise, can annoying at a high speed. So an alternating cooling CPU fan is a method using heat pipes. The heat pipe contains a liquid that is permanently sealed at the factory, uses a system for cyclic evaporation and condensation. So these are all the different kinds of the filling cooling systems. Okay, so the next one is nothing but a RAM. So RAM is nothing but a random access memory. It is a permanent memory in the computer. Like most of the system operation, like booting program, is all are stored in the ROM itself. Oh, sorry, ROM, read-only memory. It is also called as a ROM, read-only memory. The most of the voting softwares are stored within the ROM itself only. So ROM is nothing but read-only memory chips. Information is written to the ROM chip when it is manufactured. A ROM chip cannot be erased or rewritten and it is absolute. That means ROM chips cannot be erased. మనం ఆ ప్రోగ్రామ్ని మనం erase చేయలేము, అసలు rewrite చేయలేము. So that is the nothing but a ROM. So the next in the ROM we have three types of ROMs. Is a PROM is nothing but a programmable read-only memory. That means information is written to the PROM chip after it is manufactured. A PROM chip cannot be erased and rewritten. So the next one is nothing but EPROM. EPROM is nothing but erasable programmable read-only memory. Information is written to the EPROM chip after it is manufactured, and an EPROM chip can be erased with exposure to the UV light. A special equipment is required. Actually, in case of the EPROM is nothing but it is erasable after manufacturing of the corresponding EPROM. The program is written in the corresponding EPROM, but it is erasable with the help of some technique. The technique is generally called as the UV light technique. When we are incident UV rays on the corresponding EPROM, the program is there. That is nothing but EPROM. The third one is nothing but EEPROM. EEPROM is nothing but electrically erasable programmable read-only memory. Information is written to the EPROM chip after it is manufactured. EPROM chips are also called as a flash ROMs. EPROM chips is also called as a flash ROMs. An EPROM chip can be erased and rewritten without having to remove the chip from the computer. Even మనం అసలు కంప్యూటర్లో నుంచే ROMని రిమూవ్ చేయకుండానే we can write the program as well as we can rewrite the program also. Those are the different types of ROMs available in the computer. The next thing is nothing but RAM. RAM is nothing but it is also called as a random access memory. Actually, RAM is also used as a main memory. So random access memory, it is also called as a volatile memory. Volatile memory is nothing but whenever the power is gone, automatically the whatever the data stored in the RAM, the completely it is erasable. So RAM is a volatile memory. As well as we have a different types of RAMs. So that is nothing but RAM types. The first one is nothing but DRAM. DRAM is nothing but dynamic RAM. Dynamic RAM is a memory chip that is used as a main memory. Actually, RAM is used as a main memory. DRAM must be constantly refreshed with pulses of electricity in order to maintain the data stored within the chip. ఇక్కడ ర్యామ్లో ఏం చేయాలంటే ప్రతిసారి మనం ఎలక్ట్రికల్ పల్సెస్ యూజ్ చేసి ర్యామ్ని ఎరేజ్ చేస్తూ ఉండాలి. Then only we can store the data. So the second one is nothing but SRAM. SRAM means that a static RAM that is used as a cache memory. So మనం యూజ్ చేసే cache memoryలో SRAM అనేది యూజ్ చేస్తాం. యాక్చువల్ it is a faster than DRAM and it does not have to be refreshed often. మనం ఈ SRAMని మనం రిఫ్రెష్ చేయాల్సిన అవసరం లేదు. It is used as a static RAM. The third one is nothing but SDRAM. SDRAM is nothing but synchronous DRAM that operates in the synchronization with the memory bus. The CPU memory is the data path between the CPU and the main memory. Control signals are used to coordinate the exchange of data between SDRAM and CPU. In case of the SDRAM, we are using some control signals in between the data exchanges between the CPU as well as the main memory. So that is nothing but SDRAM. DDRAM is nothing but double data rate. DDRAM is nothing but double data rate. Right? SRAM. It is the fastest RAM compared to the SDRAM. This performance is twice that of the previous one. As well as DDR2. So double data rate to SDRAM is faster than DDR SDRAM over the so decreasing the noise and crosstalk between the signals. The performance over as well as it decreases the noise performance as well as the crosstalks between the wires also. And third one is nothing but DDR3. DDR3 is also one more RAM. DDR3, that is nothing but double data rate 3 SDRAM expands memory bandwidth by doubling the clock rate. So DDRAM3 consumes a less power and generates a less heat than DDR2. That means DDR3 consumes a very less power, as well as the heat dissipation is also very less compared to the DDR2. And third one is fourth one is nothing but DDR4, double data rate 4, SDRAM quadruple. DDR3 maximum storage capacity requires 40% less power due to its using a lowest voltage and has the advanced error correction features. It is that means the DDR4 is some advanced correction features. Therefore, that means the noise, if corrections is very high, obviously that means corrections in the advanced correction features are available. Obviously, the noise is also reduced, the crosstalk is also reduced. Therefore, it gives a better performance compared to the previous one. That is nothing but different types of RAMs. Next one is nothing but memory modules. So memory modules. The next one is nothing but a memory modules. Memory modules is nothing but early computers had RAM installed on the motherboard as a individual chips. The individual memory chips called as a dual inline package. Dual inline package were difficult to install. Often it becomes as a loose. మనం ఎప్పుడైతే ర్యామ్ని ఇన్స్టాల్ చేస్తామో ఫస్ట్ ఇట్ ఈస్ డిఫికల్ట్ టు ఇన్స్టాల్, యాజ్ వెల్ as after certain times there may be a chance of lose. At that time there may be a chance of loss of information also. So for that purpose we have a different types of memory modules. Can be single sided or double sided. Single sided memory modules contains a RAM and only one side. Double sided contains on two sides actually. The speed of the memory is a direct impact on the performance of the computer also, performance of the CPU or performance of the process also, or performance of the processor. That means whenever if the data accessing is very fast, then only the CPU performance is also very high. అంటే ఇక్కడ మనం డేటా తీసుకునేటప్పుడు చాలా ఫాస్ట్గా తీసుకోగలిగితే మనం ఫాస్ట్గా ఇన్స్ట్రక్షన్ ఎగ్జిక్యూట్ చేయగలం. మనం డేటా తీసుకునేటప్పుడు చాలా స్లోగా తీసుకున్నాం అనుకో, దట్ మీన్స్ ఇట్ టేక్స్ అ లాట్ ఆఫ్ టైమ్ అనుకోండి. The processing time is also requires very high. So for that purpose it affects on the performance of the processor. These are the different types of modules. SIM DIP is nothing but dual inline package is individual memory chip. DIP has a dual rows of pins used to attach to the motherboard. మనకి two sides two rows ఉంటాయి actually. SIMM is nothing but a single inline memory module circuit that holds a several memory chips and has a 30 pin or 72 pin configuration. SIMM లో మనకి 30 నుంచి 72 pin configuration ఉండే ఛాన్సెస్ ఉన్నాయి. నెక్స్ట్ DIMM is nothing but dual inline memory module. Dual inline memory module is a circuit board that holds SDRAM, DDR, SDRAM or DDR. So these are all the whatever the previous RAMs, these are all inserted on the motherboard with the help of a DIMM technique. SODIMM is nothing but small outline. DIMM has a 72 pin or 100 pin configurations for support for the 32-bit transfer. 144 pin or 200 pin or 204 pin configurations for the supporting of the 64-bit data transmission. These are all the SOD. As well as this is a smaller and more condensed version of a DIM, provides a random access data storage and is ideal for use in the laptops, printers and other devices where the conserving a space is desirable. That means it occupies a very less space. So that's why these devices are used for the laptops like printers and all the printers. So where we need a very less space. So those are all the related to the memory modules actually. So now actually we have three types of cache memory. So actually we have a cache memory. Cache memory is nothing but it is a memory between the CPU as well as a main memory. So in that cache memory we have three sections, is the L1, L2, L3. L1 is nothing but L1 cache is the internal cache and is integrated in the CPU. L1 cache is integrated in the CPU itself only. The next L2 is nothing but cache is the external cache, is originally mounted on the motherboard near to the CPU. ఇది CPU అవుట్ సైడ్లో ఉంటుంది. సో L2 cache is now integrated into the CPU, but nowadays వచ్చి దాన్ని కూడా integrate. L3 cache is used on the some high-ended workstations where the server CPUs మన L3 క్యాష్ వచ్చేసి మనం సర్వర్ స్టేషన్స్ కానీ హై ఎండెడ్ అప్లికేషన్స్లో L3 క్యాష్ యూజ్ చేస్తాం. And then so non-parity memory does not check for errors in the memory. So మనకి errors in the memory check చేయదు. Parity means that parity memory contains 8 bits for data, 1 bit for error checking. That means మనకి డేటాని ప్రాసెస్ అవుతుందా లేదా ఎర్రర్స్ ఎగ్జిక్యూట్ అయ్యి ఫర్ దట్ పర్పస్ వీఆర్ యూజింగ్ దిస్ వన్. అండ్ for third one is nothing but ECG, error correction and detection memory, and can detect the multiple bit errors in a memory and correct the single bit errors in the memory. So these are some techniques for checking the corresponding memory also. Next one is nothing but adapter cards and expansion slot. This is very important actually. So adapter cards increases the functionality of the computer by adding controllers for a specific devices by replacing the manufacturing ports. So it increases the functionality also. There are a variety of adapter cards available that are used to expand and customize the capability of the customer. So under sound adapter is nothing but sound adapters provide a audio capability. Manaki audio ni better quality kosam we are using the sound adapters. Next one is nothing but network interface card, NIC card. So NIC card is generally used for the networking point of NIC card connects a computer to the network using the network cable. మనం యూజ్ చేసే నెట్వర్క్ కేబుల్ని కంప్యూటర్కి కనెక్ట్ చేయాలంటే వీ నీడ్ సమ్ ఇంటర్మీడియట్ డివైస్. దట్ డివైస్ ఈస్ జనరలీ కాల్డ్ as NIC, network interface card. And wireless NIC is nothing but wireless NIC connects a computer to the network using the radio frequency. Just suppose if you are using the Wi-Fi or Bluetooth, those kind of the devices can be connected with the help of a wireless NIC. Video adapter is nothing but video adapters provide a video capability produce చేయాలంటే we need a video adapter. And next one is nothing but capture card means capture card is nothing but capture card sends the video signal to the computer so that the signal can be recovered to the computer hard drive with video capture software only. So మనం రిట్రైజ్ చేసుకోవాలంటే it requires a capture card as well. The TV tuner card. So this is also called as it provides the ability to watch the and record the televisions on a PC. Suppose if you want to see the TV on your corresponding monitor on the CPU, at that time CPU needs a TV tuner card as well as universal USB. It is used for the USB ports connect to the computer to the peripheral devices. Like if you want to connect the keyboard, USB keyboard, so we need a USB card, USB port also. Next to Thunderbolt card is nothing but these connect a computer to the peripheral devices. మనం peripheral devices కనెక్ట్ చేసుకోవడం కోసం యూస్ చేస్తాం. నెక్స్ట్ వన్ ఇస్ నథింగ్ బట్ redundant array of independent disk. Redundant array of independent disk means that a RAID is an adapter connects to the multiple hard disk drives or solid disk, making them as one logic. Suppose if you want to designing a high data storage hard disk, at that time we don't have any that much of availability in the real time. So for that purpose we are connecting 2 or more hard disk with the help of a RAID software, redundant array of independent. We can make it as a single large storage here. So that is the use of this one. So one important point is that older computers may also have a modem adapter. So accelerated graphics port, AGP, and a small computer system interface. So now we will see how these pictures are appeared in the computer. This is nothing but a sound adapter is nothing but like this. It is nothing but a network interface. Sound adapter is nothing but like this. It is in the form, it is generally called as a network interface. It is nothing but a video card. Suppose if you are observing, it is nothing but in the form of a video adapter. It is nothing but RAID is nothing but those. Next figures is nothing but PCI. So generally PCI is nothing but peripheral peripheral component interconnect is a 32-bit or 64-bit expansion slot actually. Suppose if you want to increasing the expansion of the memory, these PCI slots are used for increasing the memory size also. Next, mini PCI. Mini PCI is nothing but actually mini PCI is nothing but it is a smaller version of a PCI for laptops, like where in the case of a laptops we're using these kind of a PCI slots. As well as PCI X means that PCI X is nothing but peripheral component interface E extended is the updated version of a standard PCI. It uses a 32-bit bus with a higher bandwidth than PCI bus. So PCI X can operate up to 4 times faster than a PCI. That means PCI X is some advanced to the PCI traditional. It provides a very fast. That means it is a 4 times fast compared to the PCI traditional version. As soon as PCIe means that PCI Express. PCI Express uses a serial bus that has a high throughput and many other improvements over the older versions, like PCI has a PCIe has X1, X4 and X8 and X66. These are the nothing but these are versions in actually. PCIe is nothing. PCI Express is also available in a four types of PCIe X1, PCIe X4 and 816 slot. So which vary in length from shorter to the longest respectively. సో PCI X1 at the top and X16 as a bottom. సో అంటే మనకి చిన్న చిన్న డివైజెస్ కనెక్ట్ చేసుకోవాలన్నా దీస్ ఆర్ అవైలబుల్ ఇన్ ద డిఫరెంట్ సైజెస్ అనమాట. సో దట్ ఈస్ నథింగ్ బట్ PCI Express. సో దట్ ఈస్ రిలేటెడ్ టు ది అడాప్టర్ కార్డ్స్ అండ్ ఎక్స్పాన్షన్ స్లాట్స్. The next one is nothing but storage devices. Next one is nothing but storage devices. So what are the generally, suppose memory actually RAM is nothing but a random access memory. It is used as a main memory, but whenever the power is gone, automatically the data stored in the RAM is also erasable. So for that purpose we need to store some backup data. For that purpose we are using the different kinds of storage devices like a hard disk, optical drive, solid state drive. So storage devices. So storage devices, first one, figure one reads the information from the write the information to the magnetic or optical or semiconductor storage. So these devices can store the data permanently. So if the power is gone, automatically or whenever the power is gone, data is not erasable in case of these devices. So for the first one is nothing but hard disk drive, HDD. It's a traditional magnetic disk devices that have been used for the years. The storage capacity ranges from the gigabytes to the terabytes, as well as the speed is also measured in revolution form in it. This means the hard drive speed can be measured in the RPM. This indicates how fast spindle turns the platters that hold data. That means ఎంత ఫాస్ట్గా రొటేట్ అవుతుందో దాన్ని బేస్ చేసుకుని ఎంత డేటా స్టోర్ అవుతుంది, ఎంత స్పీడ్గా స్టోరేజ్. సో యాజ్ వెల్ యాజ్ ది ఫాస్టర్ spindle speed, the faster hard drive can find the data on the platter. So common hard drive spindle speeds include like 5400, 7200, 1000 RPM also. Next one is in that also solid state devices, SSD. Solid state devices is a non-volatile flash memory chips to store the data. This means that they are faster than the magnetic. It is compared to the hard disk, it is somewhat faster. As well as data storage range is also gigabytes to terabyte, but SSD have no moving parts and therefore make a no noise, so more efficient, as well as produces a less heat in the as well as SSD advantage is nothing but it produces a very less heat compared to the hard disk also. As well as hybrid drive is nothing but is also called as a solid state hybrid drive. These are the compromise between the magnetic as well as SSD. That means hybrid is nothing but this is in between the hard disk as well as a solid state, but the speed is also in between that one. As well as the SSD drives automatically, they are magnetic, so they are faster than the hard disk but less than the solid state version. Next one, optical drive. Optical drive is nothing but optical drive uses a lasers to read the data on the optical media like CDs, DVDs. These are all under the optical drive. And the tape drive is nothing but a magnetic tapes are most often used for achieving the data. Tape drive uses a magnetic read-write, although data retrieval using the tape drives can be fast. So these are all the like a external flash drive is just like a USB thumb drive that connects the USB port. An external flash drive is just the same type of a non-volatile memory chips as like SSDs. So these are all the different kinds of the storage devices, hard disk and optical drive, storage device and external device. These are all available for the storage point of it. That means if you want to store them permanently. So these are all the some related data for that one, like CD-ROM అంటే ఏం చేస్తుంది దాన్ని ఇలా రికార్డ్ చేద్దాం, స్టోరేజ్ కెపాసిటీ ఎంతవరకు ఉండాలి. అసలు ఆ స్టోరేజ్ డివైజెస్ బట్ మనం స్టోర్ చేస్తున్నాం బాగానే. ఈ స్టోరేజ్ డివైజెస్ ఎలా కనెక్ట్ చేయాలి, ఏ కేబుల్స్ యూజ్ చేస్తాం, దట్ ఈస్ డిస్కస్డ్ హియర్. సో దట్ ఈస్ జనరలీ కాల్డ్ as a స్టోరేజ్ డివైజెస్ ఇంటర్ఫేసెస్ అండ్ RAID. So here the storage devices interfaces. Here storage devices interfaces means nothing but like whatever we seen in the previous discussion, like hard disk and solid state devices and optical drives are connected to the motherboard with some cables. So that cable is generally called as a SATA cable. It is also called as a serial AT attachment. SATA drives drives connected to the motherboard using a SATA 7-pin adapter. So that means drives connected to the SATA 7-pin data connector. At one end of the cable, the connector is a keyed for the drive, and the opposite end is keyed for the drive controller. So the figure one shows the SATA cable. So we will see how it is appeared. This is generally called as a SATA cable. If you observe this one, it is actually a 7-pin connector. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 actually. It is a 7-pin connector in one end, and second end is also having a, so that is nothing but SATA cable. As well as there are 3 main versions of a SATA cable. In SATA cable also we have 3 main versions ఉన్నాయి, SATA 1, SATA 2 and SATA 3 అని. So the cables and connectors are the same, but the data transfer speeds are different. But the data cables connections is also same, but the speed variation is there. So SATA 1 allows for maximum data transfer rate up to 1 Gbps, 1 gigabits per second. But while the SATA 2 cable reach up to the 3 gigabits, and SATA 3 is the fastest with the speeds up to 6 gigabits. అంటే మనం డేటా ట్రాన్స్ఫర్ రేట్ని బేస్ చేసుకొని SATA 1, SATA 2, SATA 3 అని ఉన్నాయి. SATA 1 అనేది అప్ టు 1 gigabits వరకు అలౌ చేస్తుంది. SATA 2 వచ్చేసి 3 gigabits and SATA 3 is nothing but up to 6 gigabits or so. As well as the legacy internal drive connections methods include the integrated drive electronics, enhanced integrated drive and parallel ATR in our previous legacy. But now storage devices can also connect externally to the computer, as well as storage devices also connected to the externally. So portable hard drive disk connected to the laptop using the USB cable. USB becomes the most common way to connect the external devices. External SATA is another way to connect the external storage devices like eSATA cable for the, that means if the hard disk is connected to the external, so that can be connected with the eSATA cable. That is also shown in the figure, second figure. It is nothing but eSATA cable connects a peripheral USB to the hard disk. So hard disk కి మన peripheral నుంచి computer peripheral ని కనెక్ట్ చేయాలంటే eSATA cable యూస్ చేస్తాం for this purpose. And third one is nothing but these are all the some types of USB. వీటిని types of, we have a different types of USB typesలో ఉన్నాయి. మనకి USB typesలో వచ్చేసరికి storage devices can also connect externally using to the computer like portable like eSATA cable, and as well as SATA cable. USBలో వచ్చేసి మనకి USB 3.0 and 3.1 are blue in color and have become a popular for the connecting the external storage devices because of the faster transmission rate. USB also we have a different types of USB cables like USB Type A and Type C USB Type C cable. So these are all the different types of USB cables available in the computer itself for the peripheral connection. It is nothing but a USB Type A actually. It is nothing but USB Type B version. It is a USB Micro B. It's the smallest version, and a USB Mini B. So these are the some USB connections. As well as fourth one is nothing but it is a Type C configuration. Type C లో వచ్చేసి మనకి ఇలా ఉంటుంది USB Type C ని. It is I think most of the mobile also having a Type C cables nowadays. As well as these are some IEEE standard for the external connections like USB 2K ఇలా సపోర్ట్ చేస్తుంది ఎంత డిస్టెన్స్ వరకు. These are all represents the corresponding related data, and these are the based on the speed of how it is. And the second one depicts a RAID level comparison. RAID level comparison is nothing but so the following storage devices can also can be grouped and managed to create a large storage devices with the help of a RAID software redundancy. So redundant array of independent disk concepts. So RAID provides a way to store the data across a multiple hard disks for a redundancy and a performance improvement. The following operating system RAID array appears on a one disk. The following terms describe the how RAID data stores on the various disks like parity, detects the data errors, and stripping wires data across the multiple drives. Mirroring stores a duplicate. So these are all the 7 compass for the different types of the RAID levels. So these are all the discussion for today's class. So in our class we see the different kinds of the motherboard components, how it is, and as well as some expansion slots, how the components are expanded with the help of expansion slots, like what is meant by RAID redundancy or of independent disk. మనము large storage devices ఎలా ఫామ్ చేయాలి by using the RAID అనేది చూసాం. So these are all the discussion. So thank you for watching.